The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
A lot of people writing to me saying, David, you've got to comment on the bonus show about Apple eliminating the headphone jack from their devices. And I do want to comment about that. And I want to tell you also, I do not have any Apple products. I'm not one of these anti-Apple people per se. We've always edited on Adobe Premiere on PC systems. My laptop is a Windows computer. I have an Android phone. So I'm just not in the whole Apple world, but I still find this very, very interesting because it is similar to when you stopped seeing VHSs, when you stopped seeing CD players on many, many laptops, when you stopped seeing what else? I'm sure there are many, many more examples of this. So first of all, you are still going to have three options for using headphones or earbuds to listen through Apple products. One is wireless, right? And sooner or later, everything is going to be wireless. Power charging is going to be wireless. We're already starting to see developments there. We already have wireless internet connections. File transfers between networked computers can already to some extent happen wirelessly, and that will get faster and faster and faster. We have wireless Bluetooth headphones, which already are very, very popular. Sales of those are growing more quickly than sales of wired headphones for the first time ever. So wirelessly is going to be one element of this. Now, of course, Apple also has a solution, as they always do to every change that they make. Apple is going to start including new earbuds with the iPhone that plug into the charging jack. So this was a confusion. People said, oh, no more headphone jack, so I can't use wired headphones anymore. No, you can. It's just that they're now going to plug into the charging jack rather than a separate headphone outlet. There are other companies that are already making headphones that plug into what's called the Lightning jack. On Android phones, you can plug them into the USB-C jack, which also is the equivalent charging jack on Android phones. And then lastly, if you have a pair of regular headphones with a 3.5-inch audio plug that you really, really like, you're going to be able to get a little adapter, which will work to go from your 3.5-inch plug to the Apple Lightning jack, or from your 3.5-inch plug to the USB-C jack on your Android phones. Some of them will have splitters so that you could charge your phone and plug in headphones simultaneously. Who knows how long those will be around, but it will be for a while. I have to be really upfront. I find this interesting, and I find this sort of natural that we're going in this direction. I don't think that this is that big of a deal. And a lot of the anger around this was Apple is making obsolete what just about everybody has. And there's sort of two sides to that story. On the one hand, 3.5-inch audio plugs are actually very, very antiquated, but because nobody has made the decision to say, hey, you know what? We're ready to move past that. We don't need that on our devices. We've continued using very, very old, essentially switchboard-like technology. It is not a digital connection, and it's sort of natural that we would start to get beyond that. And yes, there is going to be a period where people are going to need an adapter to get to the backwards compatibility and be able to use that. But this is like with everything else. We've seen this change many times. We've seen changes to the plugs for electricity and many items that get electricity from the wall. We've seen phase over periods. We are going to see a phase over period as we move away from cars that use fossil fuels, during which there will be exemptions. There will be kits to make your non-electric car sort of electric. We're going to see all these things technologies are grandfathered in, et cetera, et cetera. I am truly, truly not concerned with it. I do find it interesting that Apple has just said, hey, we are doing this, period. Let me talk now about a couple things going on. One is we've alluded a couple of times to an upcoming break on the show, and you may recall that there was no summer break at all. Usually we have like somewhere between a 10 to 14 day break over the summer for vacation. That didn't happen this summer. We were in a relatively new studio. We had staffing changes, new staff, outgoing staff, et cetera, et cetera. And I also just had so many weddings to go to that there was really no reasonable time to actually take more than a few days off. So starting in the middle of next week, there will be a Monday show, there will be a Tuesday show, and there will be a Wednesday show. And then we will be off the rest of next week and the entire following week. We are also going to post a sort of message to this effect on the member show feed, so that if you go on, you'll see this thing called vacation reminder or something like that. Because every time we go on vacation, I get usually somewhere between 30 and 50 panicked emails. And I love that people are panicked, thinking the show might have gone off the air forever. That's not happening. We are going to be back after vacation on the day of, I believe our first show back is the day of a presidential debate, September 25th. And we will be all over that. So that is coming up after the Wednesday show, a little heads up there. And then also I want to talk about, we had a number of questions, and we're going to talk about some of my favorite fiction authors on the Friday show this week. But I also kept getting emails from people saying, hey, what are you reading lately, David? I know you finished Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, and you mentioned a couple of other books. Can you just tell us what you're reading right now? And the answer is absolutely. I just finished a book called State of Siege by Eric Ambler. Eric Ambler is one of my favorite genre authors. He is now passed away, British, I sort of call it crime fiction or suspense, but really the concept for Eric Ambler's stories tended to be a completely unprepared person is dropped into some harrowing or difficult scenario, either by chance as a result of bad luck, a mistake that they made, or something like that. And the storylines generally are, how is that person going to figure their way out of this situation? He wrote mostly between, I don't want to get this wrong, but I'd say the late 20s and the early 50s were when a lot of his most popular books were written. I've read probably 10 or 15 of them. I just finished State of Siege. It is awesome, although not my favorite Eric Ambler book. There's one called The Coffin for Demetrios, or something like that. It was one of the first ones I read, which is really, really good. I just started a book called Underground Airlines by Ben Winters. This is a new sort of pseudo sci-fi book, and the concept is, the reason it's called Underground Airlines, it relates to the Underground Railroad, in which Harriet Tubman and so many other abolitionists were involved. And the concept is, the Civil War never happened, right? So we still have slavery. Slavery is legal in 4 states called, in the book, I believe they're called the Hard Four. But otherwise, society has advanced. So there are smartphones, there is jet aircraft travel, there is all of the technologies that we take for granted today exist, but slavery is legal in 4 states. And Underground Airlines refers to the idea of an underground railroad at a time when there is commercial flight. I'm 3 chapters in. A couple friends of mine, unbeknownst to me, also bought this book and are starting it right now. It's absolutely fantastic so far. I don't know whether it will be good enough to warrant a review on the regular show, but maybe it will. And then lastly, for nonfiction, I'm currently reading a book called Mastery by Robert Greene, and it's super, super interesting. Robert Greene, who I find to be a really engaging nonfiction writer, uses the stories of, I guess I would say, 25 or 30 notable people from history, going all the way back to Leonardo da Vinci's time, all the way up through contemporary individuals that are still alive today, and uses their histories to explore how people can achieve mastery in a variety of different fields. And it talks about the process of learning. It talks about apprenticeship and just the value and how much more quickly you can get up to speed on skills by working under someone who is an expert or very experienced in certain areas. And in reading it, you learn a lot of the background of Leonardo da Vinci, of Mozart, of so many others. And you see how oftentimes it's really random incidents that will direct people that we now, who could imagine Mozart having been anything other than a brilliant composer? Who could imagine Marie Curie having done anything but help us develop the medical advances that she is so known for, and everything that she worked on as a result of her life. But it very often was the result of some random conversation that, as easily as it happened, it might not have. And the book is really, really good as far as that goes. Mastery by Robert Greene. That's what I'm reading right now. And we have an audience question on the Friday show where we're going to get more into this in sort of a different way. Short bonus show today. We've got a lot of stuff going on in studio today, so I do apologize for that. We will not shortchange you at all on the Friday bonus show.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.